Special guest in the building.
That's what it is. Tuskegee.
Chris Ford, man. Childhood friend. Just to give my little spiel. I could honestly say probably once one of the guys, I said I couldn't wait till I get his age. Cause he was a little older than me. You know, me and Frank, little snotty nose boy, running up behind him and Willie J wanted to be like them guys. The late crew. What was that? The late crew?
Bro.
Late crew. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, pleasure to have you on board today.
That's good to be here, man.
I know you got a busy schedule. So let's get to this. Let's go and dive in this thing, man. Let's start with it. Keep it simple. Let's just go and jump in this thing. Who is Chris Ford?
That's a loaded ass question. You know, one of the things I love to say, bro, is like, man, I'm a John Andrew baby.
Okay.
Born in John Andrew Hospital. You know, so it's, I guess, a pleasure to say I was born right here in Tuskegee.
Right.
But I mean, I'm just, I guess, a Tuskegee born and bred dude, man. Booker T. Washington High School, St. Joseph Catholic Church. Grew up riding bikes from the Tuskegee Lake all the way to St. Mark, trying to hook up with some girl on McFadden Drive.
I don't think kids don't ride bikes like that no more. I don't think, man.
Well, first of all, we were riding bikes like we started in the daytime
and get home at night,
bruh, all the way on the other side of town. Like, you know, I was reluctant to let my daughter go like to the other side of the neighborhood where I was living.
Right.
Kids just don't. I guess the world changed, bro, and that makes us sound old, but I mean,
has changed
it is
for
what
sure.
it is.
Yeah, it has changed for sure.
I'm fortunate to say this though, bro. Like, you know, Tuskegee's different, and the world changes as we get older, so things are different. But a lot of what I am is made through this community, man. From Abbott Park, 1 to 3, was it 1 to 3,
4 to 6, 7 to 9, baby, Abbott Park.
Going out there playing baseball right after you've been swimming all day.
Yeah.
I got a Zion Hill jersey up in my office, and so.
Oh, so you played with Zion Hill?
Yeah, bro. The red machine, dog. I mean,
okay.
Rock, I mean, that bro was, he like the Cowboys. Oscar was recruiting cats from Auburn. I know Hank Stakely was like, I mean, them cats was old. Bus was playing Little League baseball with us. He like 17. I'm like 12, dog.
Them were the good old days, man. I remember them games at Tuskegee Public, man, on Sundays. I played flag football with Coach Knight. Okay. We were the Redskins. Our rivalry, though, was the Cowboys. That was Kaiser Creighton, them. Rest in peace, Craig Daniels, Reggie Daniels. All them played with the Cowboys. But we were the Redskins, man. And them was some of the best times, man. Even though I ain't get too much playing time. But, you know, I still had a good time.
But what it was you started, I mean, I started with flag, and then you moved up
to termite. And
so
then Pee Wee.
These kids that go through sports from basically 5 to getting out of high school. And I think Tuskegee's starting to do that again.
Yeah, I think we're getting a good little feeder program going on. I mentioned it on my last podcast with Kyle Piner. I see he's doing a lot. Rest in peace, Bruno. You know, he was doing his thing.
Bruno had his hands in all of it, man. I love to see cats like Dick and, out there coaching. You know, working with the kids and giving back. You know, it's making progress. But that's exactly who I am. I am a dude that was born and bred in Tuskegee, grew up in Tuskegee, and was real fortunate because of my dad to have access to be able to sit up in City Hall at city council meetings and to sit up on that stage and look down at the crowd. But then Tuskegee is such a small town to also be in the crowd. I mean, all my homeboys was down there, so to be able to see a little bit of all of it,
both sides,
it's kind of made me who I am today, man. And I'm gonna tell you, I think we wired differently, bro. I mean, Tuskegee guys are wired way different.
We definitely. They tell you if you can make it in Tuskegee, bro, you can make it anywhere, and I really do believe that. You mentioned your dad. That was gonna be my next question. So what was it like? I don't want to say growing up in the shadow of Mayor Ford, but
no, bro,
that's kind of what it
is.
You know, but
a big shadow.
Yes,
everybody knows
it was some big shoes.
Right, he still
some
does.
Big shoes. Exactly.
He does. And you know, it's a beautiful thing, man, to watch my dad work through this process. Even sometimes we don't agree about things and we don't have the same outlook on politics sometimes. But I mean, I was on campaigns My dad was elected mayor in 1972. So I was born in 76, bro. I was on a campaign from the time I was born to pretty much I went off to college.
Right.
I mean, whether it was running for Congress or whether it was, so it's been something to see and be in the room with some very influential, powerful cats. I mean, and it's made me realize that we can hold our own anywhere. Sure. It's my dad is a I'll say what, he lives and dies Tuskegee.
Man,
does not stop, bro. Like he will go to war about Tuskegee. I mean, and it's.
I'm gonna tell you. I remember when the Black Lives Matter movement was going on, and I think we had something down at the complex. Well, we didn't. Somebody had something at the complex. Johnny Ford got up there, man. And it was so gangster to me, man. I would just keep it a buck. That doggone Johnny got up there and said, "Citizens, welcome to the house that Johnny built." Hey, man, Johnny had me out just off saying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have these stories, people say, man, Johnny Ford can make you want to run straight through a wall. You know, he know how to talk, and he speaks with sense. You know what I'm saying? So, man, when he said that, man, that was one of I would never forget that moment. And then speaking of that, did you have like a Johnny L moment? All
right, there are two that stick out with me a lot. One was, I can't remember the year. I think I was in high school or in college, but my dad graduated from Knoxville College.
Okay.
He got invited to be the commencement speaker at his college. Mm-hmm. And I mean, bro, I don't think Morehouse ever gonna call me. I mean, I don't think that's the thing. I mean, he's on the board of trustees, but to see him get up there and get a standing ovation and an honorary doctorate from his alma mater, I mean, he was touched by that, and that's just the biggest honor. And then another one, I don't know if he remembers this. This was in the 80s. He was running for state auditor or something, and we had to go to somewhere to get an endorsement because that's what you got to do. You got to go to these little realtors associations or whatever to get an endorsement. And so I think it was a lawyers association. As a matter of fact, I think it was trial lawyers. And Beasley Allen, I think Jared Beasley was speaking, and it was a breakfast. And man, he got up there, bro, and Jared Beasley, whoever it was, spoke for an hour. I mean, you could just see lawyers, heads falling in their plate, just a boredom. I mean, I don't know what he was talking about, but he talked for a long time. Mm-hmm. And my dad got up there. After he finished, everybody was really ready to go. He spoke for maybe 4 minutes. And I mean, he tore it up. And look, he did when he finished, bro, he walked straight out of the room.
Straight out.
And to a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Like, he woke
like he know he did
3 minutes. Like, this guy spoke for an hour about all the stuff he's done. Mm-hmm. He got it for 3 minutes. And it just touched me. That's how he could touch people differently than a lot of the cats. And it's organic. It comes to him naturally, man.
Right.
It's a gift he has.
Yeah.
I got some of it, but what he has is special, man.
Special. I heard you say Morehouse, so give me your college. Well, I know you went to school in Tuskegee, graduated from Booker T. Washington. College, then law school. Break that down to me.
So went to St. Joseph all the way to 8th grade. 9th grade was at Catholic. My brother went to Catholic. Mm-hmm. My parents got divorced around that time, so I ended up in Atlanta. My brother was at Morehouse. So 2 of the years of high school I spent in Atlanta, I would go down on weekends to Morehouse with my brother.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's still cats now that call me Baby Chris, because I'd be 16-year-old in a Morehouse party.
Right.
Down there trying to hit on Spelman girls. So, when I got out, by the time I came back to BTW and graduated, I was already sold on Morehouse. I applied to Harvard, Howard, and Morehouse. I didn't get into Harvard. I was just taking a swing at that. But got into Howard, but it was always Morehouse. So, I went to Morehouse, but this was the crazy part. When I went to Morehouse, first week I get to Morehouse, they do something called orientation. And so, freshman orientation, only freshmen, they doing chants. And Morehouse started chanting out, we're better than Tuskegee, or we're better than Clark, or we're better than Howard. And that always throws me for a loop, how black folks want to separate us, that we're better than each other.
Yeah.
So that was one of the reasons I have Morehouse. I love Morehouse, my experience, but it threw me off a little bit.
It threw you off a little bit.
But it was Morehouse. I came home after I graduated Morehouse. Was literally just coming home to get ready to move somewhere else. Got a job out in L.A. was going to work out there in the political science department, and then I found out that I was having a little daughter. And I was working for this medical healthcare company. My daddy got me the job. And
this was in Cali?
This was down here.
This
is when Lauren was on the way.
Okay.
And I was in a room, and it was Elton Dean, who was the county commissioner, chairman down in Montgomery, passed away about a year or two ago, and Judge Greg Griffin, who's a judge. He wasn't a judge then. He went to Morehouse. And I remember sitting in this room and thinking, I was like, the only reason I'm in this room is because I'm Johnny Ford's son.
Right.
And that didn't sit well with me. So after that, I went straight and applied to law school. I always wanted to be a lawyer. I was just procrastinating on it. And so I ended up at Jones in Montgomery. They offered me a little money and went there. And 3 years out of law school, 2007 came out, 2008. And been practicing law ever since then.
So what inspired you to want to be, you say you always wanted to be a lawyer. What was the inspiration like? Was it Matlock on TV, or was it, what inspired you?
You always look at your folks, and some of that we get what we want to do from our parents.
Okay.
And my dad always said he wanted to be a broadcaster, but if he could do it again, he'd go back and be a lawyer. And then in 5th grade, Roberta Banks was my teacher over at St. Joseph. She was real influential on me. And I argued her down about a grade or something. I mean, I wouldn't stop, bro. I was on her. Like, you know what I'm saying? And she was hardcore. And she just basically said, like, you need to be she said filibuster at the time. She had it wrong, but that's what I thought lawyer meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that kind of stuck. And I'm fortunate, bro. Like, I knew what I wanted to do from, like, 5th grade on. Some cats don't.
Yeah, you don't get it. I mean, we just had that conversation with my daughter, remember, the other day here.
Yeah,
so that's crazy to know at 5th grade and to actually stay on course
and to be able to do it.
And
I deviated from course now because I think I left Morehouse for a couple of years to start that rap career, dog.
You were rapping?
Remember I had a studio back then?
I remember, yeah. So you left.
I left Morehouse and came back out here.
While you're in school, like sophomore, junior,
and
you take a break.
I gotta give my pops props. He supported me. Gave me a little change to get some studio equipment. Mm-hmm. Gave me a spot, and me, A. Clay, Brian Curry.
So were you rapping or?
I was rapping. I was doing beats. I don't think I was ever any really good at it, but it's one of the things you do. You want to do what you love.
Yeah, you gotta. That's your bucket list. You gotta check it out. You know, I had my little spiel with it. Not rapping, but
doing
just
the music thing.
Just doing it. Yeah.
But they say they can't tackle you if you don't got the ball, bro. So I mean, you put yourself out there, and it's one of them things. But so I did deviate at times, and procrastinated, but I made it, and I still love what I do, bro. It's a cool gig.
So becoming a lawyer, I'm sure you could have went anywhere. Most, it's sad to say, but I'm just keeping it a buck. Most people get their degrees, Tuskegee, they leave. Or if you're from Tuskegee, you get your degree somewhere. It's rare that people actually come back and set a foundation in this area. One, what made you stay in Tuskegee? And then two, explain kind of like how it is being a lawyer in a small town like Tuskegee. Factual point, knowing me, I got to call you, and we'll get into that, but so break that down to me. What made you want to stay home and then explain maybe pros and cons about?
Well, I mean, at that point, my daughter was 5 when I passed the bar. She was 5.
Okay.
And so I was going out of law school, just passed the bar, and I knew cats that were going to work at firms. They were working 80 hours. And Lauren was living with me at the time or something. So one, I couldn't work an 80-hour week because, I got to get her to school. I got to drop her off, pick her up. We got to get her where she has to be. You just do parenting stuff. And then I passed the bar on a Wednesday. Judge Ford gave me my first felony case on a Thursday.
Wow.
So it was ability for me to come back down here and just immediately jump in head first. And I'm doing it on my own ticket. I'm my own time, Kelia Lane was a district attorney down here. I interned.
Rest in peace,
at a district
Kaylee. That was a
attorney.
good girl.
Bro, she taught me
yeah.
everything. Most of what I know about being a good lawyer, which is by dealing with folks. But we'll get to that. But with Kelia over there, I worked with Snapper Bulls. He was a judge at municipal court, and he was giving me cases. So it was easy for me to come back down here and just jump straight in. Whereas Montgomery got probably, 3,000 lawyers?
Yeah, you got to get in where you fit in.
Everywhere's a billboard for these cats. And so down here, it was 20 of us now. Then it probably ain't 20 of us now. It's not 20. But it was easier to come back in here and just jump in. It's Tuskegee. And, bro, represent my homeboys.
Yeah.
When I was doing criminal law, I ain't going to name nobody, but they know who they are.
Yeah.
No, hold on. Is that you, Dope Boy Jesus? That's it.
Yeah. You wanted a shirt, man, called Dope. I wasn't going to say that. Chris wanted a shirt called Dope. He said,
Jay came up with that. Dope Boy Jesus.
Chris guy said, hey, man, I need your wife to make me a shirt. I needed to say Dope Boy Jesus. I was like, what? But hey, man, if you getting them off, that's really probably cool. What they feel like.
George Bulls was like 2 years behind me.
Okay.
So I had my office open like a year. And George called me. He's like, hey, man, we have an office out here. You can come with us. And so
that's when you was over there,
yeah,
Bull. Yeah, I remember.
It was a no-brainer. We both were new. We both were the young guys.
Right.
It was good to have somebody the same age range because we were figuring out as we go.
Figuring it out together.
And so it was easy, man. It was easy and it was fun, and it's still very interesting, bro. It's something new every day, man.
So how do you deal with being from here and like prime example? I call you, man. If you were probably somebody I didn't know, I probably would have a charge from here to Africa, because I just call, hey Chris, but how do you deal with being from the hometown and have to deal with clients from the hometown? You may know they really ain't got it, or even they got it, they acting like they ain't got it. Like, what's your peace? Like, your sanity, you know what I'm saying?
Our profession is what it is. I mean, we are able to support ourselves in our careers. And I ain't gonna go past that, but it does feel like I pay a tax, which I'm happy to pay. I love that. I love being able to help cats out, do stuff pro bono. Look, I do stuff at such a reduced rate because I know cats, especially where Tuskegee is down, don't have the financial means a lot of times to pay it. So, I'll take cases at reduced rates all the time. Do cases for my homeboys. Not even that, family members. It's hard, one, because of Johnny Ford, and then also because Ski is so small for me not to have a connection to generally almost everybody down here, bro. Yeah. Some way or another. A cousin knows a cousin or something. And nowadays, I'm representing folks' children or, because our age groups had those kids now that are getting older. Yeah. And, bro, I don't mind doing it. I love doing that. That's the way you give back to Tuskegee. It's what we owe to this community for making us who we are. So we got to give back, and we got to charge less, and I got to do stuff for free. And how many times I be like, man, don't even worry about it, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do know. But this is my cousin podcast, but y'all don't
cousins,
know.
Dog.
We can't know.
They down the line somewhere, but
way down the line. That bloodline still the same.
County, bro.
So I heard you say when you passed the bar, Lawrence, maybe 5. Lawyer, I know her mom was in her life or whatever, but at some point she moved in with you. How was that, raising not only being a single parent, but raising a female, you're a male? And I'm quite sure you really didn't have no experience because this is the first one.
Yeah.
So how?
Well, I ain't gonna say single parent because Lauren's mom has been involved.
Right. That's what
But the mysteries of raising a little girl, bro. I know what you're going through right now is always crazy. But I tell folks, being a dad actually is my full-time job. I mean, as parents, we all know that. That's the real full-time job. What we do to support these kids is the secondary job. But, I didn't, in all honesty, I wasn't the biggest kids person, but that's the best thing I've ever done. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think, you've seen it. I lived that. Now, I mean, my daughter's highly invested in that. She's 20 years old. Right. She's about to start getting ready to take the LSAT. She went to law school. She's about to be a junior in college. So, I mean, raising a little girl is just always, for a guy, hair, clothes, all those are mysteries, dog. Still, to this day, I'm not getting that right now.
Nah, me neither. I tell her, go to mama. Or how much, what the people say, how much, and now that she's working, she have her own money. That's just, whew.
Oh, bro, they blow through that. Like,
man.
And then come to you after they finish with their little change to ask you for bread. So, mine got a little voice. When she called, I already know she about to ask for some money.
Mine got a text when she say, Dad.
Yes.
And I tell her, like, man, go on, say what you gonna say. You want Dad. Now I gotta respond, yes, Pooh. And then you come with what, well, you could just say,
can I?
Dad, can I do, yeah, so I get it.
But it's a beautiful thing. My daughter's the best thing I've ever done. I'm happy she wants to be a lawyer. Let's see how that works out. I mean, it should work out. She's academically better than I was.
Right.
But, I mean, it's being a parent, man. You know, that's the legacy we do leave.
Right.
I'm not going to be, when we're not here, they'll be here to represent who we were.
They got to keep that name going.
Yeah.
So with Johnny being in the political realm, do you have any political aspiration?
Well, you heard me say I've been working campaigns forever, dog. Like, I don't think I ever want to run for politics. I do want to contribute to this community, give back. I would love to be able to provide input. Get some more young folks involved in the political scene. We need that desperately.
So let me say this, man, and this is going on record. I've been one to say it myself. We always say we need more young folks in these positions. But let's just be honest. You just say you don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. We've talked to Jay Clay before. He don't want to do it. And not just saying that we all they could pick from, but when you start thinking about it, bro, what is it to pick from? Because people don't nobody want to do it. But that's our argument now. Oh, we need more young folks. We need to get the young folks. And now I see we got some trickling in, but
you saw the reluctance on my face when you asked about politics. And so, like, for me,
right,
because there is somewhere, like, if the right opportunity arose, probably I would consider it. Because I feel like also, if we're fortunate and we have knowledge and we feel like we can help, it's our responsibility at that point to get involved.
Right.
And so you're right, because I think we've done a poor job in our age range. Man, Tiffany Cole is an incredible attorney and would be great on a political scene, but she don't want to do it. I understand we all
don't nobody want to do it, man.
Jared Clay would be incredible at it. You would be great at it. You're a people person. You know this community.
Yeah. My fear with joining the political realm is I think I'll be too, I don't want to say real, but too, like a lot of stuff I couldn't go for. Like, prime example, just open the window. I'm talking about it. You ain't got to say nothing about it. The situation I just went through with, I ain't gonna call no names. I always say the little guy. But if I was on the political side, there's no way possible I could have stood and let that go on like that. So that's why, and when you in those positions, sometimes you got people you got to answer to. So it's gonna be hard.
To the people who voted for you, bro.
Well,
you don't answer to anybody else.
Well, that's not how it works here, Chris.
It should work, and that's part of the
Yeah,
problem.
but that's not how it works here.
And
you know that, like I know.
Folks pander so much. It's about getting reelected. It should be about. It's about doing what's the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't get reelected, fine. Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
And as a community, Tuskegee, we different. We small, man. So we ain't Auburn, we ain't Montgomery. We can do our own way. They ain't giving us no bread from the state. Alabama's not giving us any money to do pretty much anything. Let's just start doing it differently. What you went through, that should not have happened. If you have this problem, then tell me, how do I resolve it? Or work with me to resolve the problem. Not tell me this is the problem and I'm not gonna let you do it until you do this. That's well, then tell me, how do I do that? Because I don't have that knowledge base. And there's too much of that. We're not working to help folks move forward. You know, we kind of work, I guess, I don't know if people want to stay in their position or what, I don't know. But that shouldn't happen to you. That was ridiculous, especially as much as we need business and economics around here. I mean, we should be turning anybody away.
Yeah, I really didn't get out there and just speak too much on it, but I'm gonna be kind of vocal and say, man, that was, and I'm not go down because your father came and spoke to me. I talked to the council. You know, it's like everybody knew what needed to be done, but for some reason, this little guy has the power. And I don't understand.
I don't think he does. And I don't understand why they allow that to get away with that. I mean, we being 100 here, that's what we be doing?
We being 100.
Fuck that shit, dude. His name is Willie Smith, and he's a fire chief. He is not relevant on building permits, bro.
Oh.
I mean, like, it's been an issue that's been going on for years where you're stopping people from opening businesses for arbitrary reasons. If you got an issue, that's fine. Tell us how to fix that issue.
Right.
All right? But don't come in and shut folks down. That's not what you do. We're a community. You know, we always talk about HBCUs and black communities. We work together. And when we work and fight each other, that's ridiculous. We have to do more about working as a group to make this community better. So if you got a problem, I understand your deck does have an issue with like making sure that
the safety,
occupy, exits.
Right.
How do I do that?
And that was my thing, bro. Like, I had equipment purchased that was just getting rained on. I even went to him, and I go on record and say, I could be wrong, this is just my opinion, but I feel the building inspector and the city manager was leaning towards, because I presented like, hey, here's a draft of my drawing. I'm letting y'all know that even though I don't agree with getting this drawing done, I'm getting it done. But I have material out here. Storms, rains are coming. Is there any way I can let my guys continue to build? And I signed something saying I won't let nobody on. I won't open it up until I get, y'all can hold me accountable for. Now that takes the liability off y'all. Everybody seemed like they was okay. But then that little guy walked in, bro, and he just, no, the law. So I just rolled my little plans up, and so I ain't gonna lie, it made me feel some type of way. And sometimes, like I've seen a lot of people going through stuff in Tuskegee, and I'm one of probably 1,000 people that we say, I ain't getting that, man, because I don't want no problem. And it shouldn't be like that. I shouldn't be scared to go for what's right because I'm feared, well, they go block me on my next project. You know what I'm saying? So I think that needed to happen to me, because now I'm like, okay, I got to start paying attention to what's going on in the city a little more. I got to start voicing. I got to get basically uncomfortable.
I will say this. In your situation, a lot of people came to me and we talked. A lot of people at City Hall, they all went to bat for you.
Right,
It was this one particular individual, I guess, was trying to shut it down. But it's the sad part, it was just not your situation. This has been going on for years. And I've heard people say it is more difficult for me to open a business in Tuskegee than in Auburn. It's ridiculous.
Than in Montgomery.
It's ridiculous. That makes as much business as we need down here. We're dying down here. And pretty much all these people have been in this establishment. They see what you're trying to do.
Right.
I'm not here to bash one individual in particular. What I'm just saying is, as a community, we need to figure out ways that we work with each other and stop treating it, again, like, because sometimes we can expect treatment when we go rural places in Alabama, because we know where our demographics are down here. And the ideology is conservative, and we're in the civil rights South. But with each other, bro, we're cutting each other off at the knees, and that's the bad part. Again, we have to learn to work together in any capacity, from the police chief to the fire chief to the mayor to the inspectors to the city manager to the council.
Right.
And I think a bunch of those cats went to bat for you on that.
They did.
And also, a bunch of people came out of woodwork and said they've had the same problem.
They had the same. Man, I got inboxes and people calling, people trying to open up this shop, and so it's definitely something that got to be addressed. Before we
got to push this, is that why we need to, if we don't get involved, get some younger people involved, some people that are willing to institute some more change in here and not allow things like that to go on. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I'm gonna jump to this because my question after this is to start talking about Tuskegee, spicing it up a little bit. But if not lawyer, what? Rapper? MC Chris?
Oh, bro.
If not lawyer, what, man?
I just gotta say, so one of my favorite things, I got a song back in the day, and my first lyric is, when I hit 26, I would have been hit it rich. My daughter jokes on me so hard about that shit, dog. She's like, you failed miserably, bro.
So you had a lyric that said, when you hit 26, you've been hit rich.
Yeah, that didn't work out.
Yeah, it didn't work out for none of us, I don't think.
I actually don't know, dog. I love Tuskegee to death. I think I really, man, at some point in time when my daughter gets out of here, I think I want to kind of pick up and see if I could see some other parts of the world. I mean, not travel, but I live somewhere else. I always gonna love Tuskegee and be coming back and forth from here.
But you do a lot of traveling, Chris.
Yeah, I do, and that's not enough for it. I still would like to do more, man.
Yeah.
And I've been able to do more as you get older. You know what I'm saying? Your daughter's out of the house or whatever, but I don't know, man. I don't know what I would do if I wasn't practicing law.
Really?
Yeah.
Nothing else? No.
I was so one-tracked on that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I even looked at like alternatives or whatever.
You just focus on being a lawyer.
Yeah.
Locked in.
I still got my law license. I can't believe it. Saying that,
but so you said traveling. What's the best place you done been? For a guy like, man, so this is what I like to do. I tell my partner, High Tower, Deidre, and all them, I live through them a lot, because they're able to get up and go travel. So when I take prime example, when I saw you with the pitch on the train with Brett Favre, like I was smiling like that was me. But because I know what Brett means, well, I'm not gonna say Brett, what Green Bay means.
Yeah, I'm a Green Bay fan.
Yeah, I know you're a Green Bay fan. So me seeing that had me smiling like I done reached one of my bucket lists. So
I'm a Green Bay fan because of Madden 1992. So because of the PlayStation got me a Green Bay. But and dog, I got a bunch of blowback for that Brett Favre thing, because Brett Favre's politics are bad, bro. And he's done some real crazy stuff in Mississippi. Yeah. But I mean, that's just arbitrary, random. This guy watched play football, loved that team. Right. Run into him in Rome, Italy at 9 a.m. on a train.
Yeah, you got to get that photo.
Bro, I mean, we 3 feet away from each other in the car, looking like, oh. I mean, he lived in Mississippi. I had never seen him in America. Yeah. But I love, man. I feel like the mountains. I'm a huge mountain guy, man. Interlaken, Switzerland is the most beautiful place I've been in my life, bro. And I just came back from Interlaken, Switzerland. It's this little town of Switzerland in the middle of Swiss Alps. You're just surrounded by the mountains. I love the beach. Destin, solid. I do that all the time. But just I think part of making us better people, bro, is just seeing the world.
Right. How they do it other places.
Mexico, and you see these people living in shanties or whatever, it makes you feel like how fortunate you are.
You really are.
You can do to help folks. So seeing, going to Africa, and seeing how they live, I think that's a big part of it. It makes you a more centered person. So maybe at some point in time I'll be able to get out of here, maybe spend my whole life in Bama. I don't know. I don't know, occupation-wise, what I do.
All right. So we back on the land, man. 4-6.
All right, let's do this.
I'm a original 4-6, boy.
We the 4-6 guys.
We have a debate.
Yes.
Yeah, we the original 4-6 boys. Y'all the original 46ers. I give you that. From your perspective, though, what are some views, or what do you feel? Just a couple of things. You ain't got to give me a whole list that don't sit right with Tuskegee, need to change maybe, we could do different.
Tuskegee, man, is just a fascinating place because, we got all this history here. It is hard to watch it grow and go to where it is now, because me and you remember what it used to be and what things existed like Job Corps, NYSP, and this Abbott Park culture we had. I think the key, one of the things that created and made Tuskegee so great, you being online, was TU University.
Yeah.
And I think Peyton raised the endowment. He was a great president for the aspect. But I think when they threw those gates up, that may have, or those fences, I think our issue is Tuskegee University and the Tuskegee city are not connected enough. Like, I believe there should be, they got a great business department. Those business kids should be made to intern in Tuskegee in businesses.
Right.
They have environmental stuff up here. Those environmental kids have ideas on better ways for us to cure litter problems,
right.
to recycle. And, like, you know, the house I grew up in around the lake, it's just weird hodgepodge of rocks and balconies. And my mom got it done by an architecture student at Tuskegee University. And so we got some brilliant minds right here on this campus, and they're not interacting with this city. And then some of our kids, most of them don't even think they could go to Tuskegee University. One of the best black colleges in the country, 3 miles from their house.
Yeah, for the record, I graduated there in 2003.
Exactly.
Yes,
I was going to say alumni.
Alumni, yes.
So I think opening those doors back up. You got a political science major at Tuskegee University? He should be working in government, an internship in the complex, or in the UBT, or in any capacity. We should have college students. A teacher's assistant should be in every classroom in Macon County from the university. They should be made.
Now, I know
that's what Booker T's mantra was. It was educating his own people. Right. You know, not the talented 10th like W.B. Du Bois is talking about. It's that Morehouse stuff. It was more about cast down your buckets and take care of, you know, teaching our own people to be able to have practical life skills. So our students built that university. So, sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
I was just finna say, I remember when I was at Tuskegee, when my major was education, we did intern or do our teachers practice or whatever they call it in the local school systems. I don't know if they still do that or not, but I agree. I do feel it's a disconnect. It's kind of looked at as two cities. You got Tuskegee, the city, then you have Tuskegee University, the city. With me going to Tuskegee, one thing that I'm a proud graduate, I love Tuskegee University, but one thing I didn't like is orientation class in my years. The teacher told the students to watch out for the locals. Now, that made me feel weird as hell because I'm a local.
You are a local, sir.
And I'm sitting in this classroom and they saying, watch out. Whoa, I'm a local. What you mean, watch out? Watch out for what? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's definitely a disconnect with the university and Tuskegee. Now, here lately, actually a guy that works for me, Justin, he was part of the organization that tried to do the cleanup for the city pool.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so they're doing some things, you know, but I would lie and act like I'm really just in tune. I just knew because he worked here and he was telling me, you know what I'm saying? But in doing that, something went south. I don't know what. He said that he was going to talk about it. His lady friend was kind of upset about it. She works for me also. But I didn't really get into it. That's their story. But I definitely feel it is a disconnect. What else, though? Like changing and skiing.
Yeah, you heard me say a couple of times. I think I think we don't have to defer. We can govern differently. Yeah, I think Tuskegee should look at alternative routes and doing things. I'm a big advocate to this, and they've heard me say this a couple of times. I can't believe we still arrested people for smoking weed. I mean, it's been decriminalized. Joe Biden's taking it off the controlled substance list. I mean, it's what police officers use in other counties to arrest black people at an early age and put fingerprints in the system. But I mean, those type of things, we could decriminalize that. We were trying to advocate to have a dispensary here.
Yeah.
And one of the things they said was that, well, if you want a dispensary, you need to decriminalize that. And the council could have taken that steps. Other cities have done that. I just think Tuskegee, we have to govern differently. We can govern ourselves. Because
Do you think they go off what other places do?
I sometimes don't think they look to see what other places do. Progressive places, things that people do differently.
Okay.
I think we have to think outside the box some. Because just going the old traditional route has not been working, bro. We are losing people at a very fast rate. I think we're down in the 8,000s now. And I think we were 13,000 people probably when we were here in the 90s and the late 80s.
Tuskegee was a place to be, man.
It was
It was. I remember, man, 4th of July weekend around the lake, man. I wasn't thinking about going out of town. For what? 4th of July? No, Ma. I need some duckhead shorts, a Tommy Hilfiger shirt, some white Air Force Ones. I gotta be clean.
The whole day you're on the lake, bro.
You're on the lake.
They had
the whole day.
They had a bus. They used to just ride around the lake and take you to different parts of the lake, playing the Commodores all day long. And they would just ride around from catch a bus on the other side of the lake for the fireworks show, the live bands. And I think we beat a dread drum here because we hear everybody saying the same thing about this, is that how beautiful Tuskegee was in the 70s, 80s, and 60s, and until the early 90s. So, I mean, I think we got to do something different. We have to look to other cities. And I think some of those college students up there know what that is.
What's your take on the government, the way the city is governed? City council, mayor, city manager. How do you feel that's appropriate for Tuskegee, or should we have that city council, mayor?
Well, see, I remember when it was implemented. I think my dad was involved with that because it used to be the mayor who was a day-to-day manager. And I think we had reached a population level where we were able to make that change. Now, I may be wrong on this, but I think we were. And now, because we've lost so many people, I don't know if it's effective. I like Mr. Roberts. I think Mr. Roberts is a good dude. I think,
I'm not speaking personally of what he's doing with his job. I'm just saying, it don't matter if it was him or anybody. Do you feel like?
I think city managing, having a city manager, I don't think is a bad thing, because a city manager, more so than a mayor, probably has to make a lot of financial decisions. I mean, he has to fire and hire. He has to run the day-to-day. So I think there is a background that probably will benefit a city manager having some kind of degree in public service or city management, as far as understanding the economics of the day-to-day of a city. Some mayors will never have that because some mayor is just a guy that runs for office and wins.
Right.
You get a mayor with a PE degree or something.
Right.
May not have any background in running a day-to-day of a city. So I don't think having a city manager is a bad thing at all. I think, that's...
But don't you feel you got to have money for the city manager to, like, what if, because those are the stories that I hear, that Tuskegee ain't got no money. I don't know how true that is.
I don't think we do have much money.
I don't know. Yeah, I can't.
I don't either.
But those are just what the street committee say, as William C. Brassfield used to call it, the street committee. That's what they say. So is it a need when you don't have, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I guess I don't know what the city manager makes now, but I don't think that's the issue that's making or breaking us. I mean, if we paying some guy $80,000 or $100,000 to manage a city, I don't think that's where our shortfall is. I think we have other issues that are more pertinent than that. So, I mean, if you want to switch to government, that's fine. I think they can do that, but I don't think that's our biggest deficiency. I think a city manager may be good because he won't get into nepotism. He will fire some people that need to be fired, or if we don't have the money to keep all these people on salary, a city manager probably can cut them easier than a mayor, because a mayor worries about political kickback. And in a small town, that's going to be an issue when you fire somebody and their cousin not going to vote for you or something. So a city manager probably can do that much easier and probably be more realistic about financially how we have to proceed. So I think we got some other bigger issues. So not so much the city government. I know people have talked about that. I think because of our size, we could switch back to the mayor. And I think some of that was, I don't know why the change was made, but I remember my dad was in office when that was going on.
This is a touchy question here. Everybody have their thoughts, opinions. UBT. Let me take a sip to UBT.
All right, so
what's your take on UBT?
Okay, there we
the
go.
infamous
All right.
UBT.
All right, so if I'm right on this, I remember my pops told me that the UBT was created because they were trying to create the complex. They wanted to float a bond to borrow money to create the complex and move from City Hall, which was where the courthouse was.
Okay.
I have not been the biggest advocate of the UBT, and I have some people very close to me that are involved with it. We've gone back and forth on it. I mean, I know I live in Montgomery. I have a 2 air conditioning unit. I got a house. My bills I've never had a bill that's gotten to the point where I've seen some people say their bills are whatever. But I can't speak because I'm not in their house, so I don't know what their condition is. Now, I will say this. I think UBT is created not to make money, but to provide services to the citizens of Tuskegee. I don't believe it being a financial venture. Now, I will say this. In the last year or so, maybe, I have been informed on how much the UBT actually gives back. And so the UBT donates a bunch of money to organizations. They do things for the city. They do help bring in a ton of business. And they're trying to do more of that now for economics to bring in, because those are customers for UBT, but also creates tax base for the city. So I think the UBT needs to make sure that people in Maine County know that, because this is the issue we always hear, is people are not happy with their bills, and they don't understand why the UBT is here. And so I think they need to work on letting people know why they're here and what they give back.
Right.
If they give that much back, I think they should let folks know that. I mean, I think that's the narrative. I guess some of that needs to be done. But because the whole point of we have it, I remember when my dad was there was a fund. And they weren't making a ton of money, but if your power was off, an old woman could call, and they would go down there, and Mrs. Samuel and would turn that woman's power back on.
Right.
They wouldn't turn it off. They had a fund, like a little fund that was created for citizens whose power whose bill was too high, they couldn't pay it, they didn't have the money to do it. So I think maybe the community and the UBT need to work on understanding each other. But I've never been the biggest advocate for it when bills are $800 and we're a poor community. And I don't think things like that are made to make money. Cities should make money. Utility companies should make money off its people. They're not your clients. They're your people you serve. And so I'm not a big fan of that. But I do think they give a bunch back to the community. And they're doing more to bring industry here. And we need that bad for the tax base. Yeah. Tax base. We need folks with jobs, bro. You know, folks are hurting down here, man.
And that's my take with UBT is, of course, you know, I may get upset when I get a $3,000 light bill or something, but on the backside of it, I got to look at, you know, the people that I know they're employing, because those people got good jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's job opportunity for people in Tuskegee that, you know, who knows where they would be working if UBT wasn't. So I know they say a lot of the UBT workers come here and then they take their tax dollars out. I don't know them, but I do know some people that works there now, that they're employed. They're able to take care of their family. They're even able to invest in their own business venture by working there. You know what I'm saying?
They are actively now. Like I think they were active in getting Sam Key here. That's a good bit of jobs, bro. Folks can make 30 to 50 bands. Yeah. Pay taxes back into the community, and that's a tax base we need. I think they're trying to actively advocate for some other larger companies to come in and work it in that aspect. Right. So that stuff is good for the community. I just think their message needs to be more.
Yeah, you just got to let the people know. Yeah, because they don't.
If I charge you a $600 light bill, but if I got you 3,000 jobs or something like that, people can say, okay, all right, there's a trade-off here.
Yeah, we just don't know. And then when you don't know, you start making up your own situation.
Assumptions, exactly, and what's going on. But I tell you, they give to charities, schools, they give back to the city. They do all kind of stuff. So I'm getting swayed some, but I don't think they need to be in the business of making money off folks. But I understand they have to have money to provide service. So, and I know one person in particular is going to be happy. That's the best answer I've given about it, because you know I've been jumping on UBT for years, dude.
Shout out Jay Clay.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, boy, he protects that UBT, but I salute JK. That's
He's
my
the
guy,
one
man.
educated me recently as
That's
to
my
what
guy.
goes on with
Yeah.
it, and so I believe him. But again, I know he cares about Tuskegee
He does.
to death,
He
and
does.
so he's just like us. He's born and raised here,
Yeah.
so yes, he's very concerned with it. So
I gotta get Jay Clay to sit down one day. I know it's gonna be hard.
I call him Big Bank. That's what we call him.
Yeah, but I would get him to sit down. So let's jump back to this lawyer side. What I want to do in wrapping this up, Chris, is just let's go over. Let's make this part of it educational. Let's go over a couple of scenarios.
All right.
Because a lot of people just don't know. When you're put in a situation, you don't know, and your response. I was watching a video the other day, and the guy was driving a car. He had some white stuff on his car. And when the police went and scraped the white stuff off, he put it in a little tester, shook it up. The dude was saying that it was bird poop. He was like, man, I play football, this is bird poop. But now you have a lawyer in the corner that just breaking it down. And the lawyer was like, man, when they arrest you, don't answer no questions, just ask for your attorney. He said, because when you start talking, they're going to start persuading you towards and even in the video, you heard the officer say something like, yeah, I'm going to tell him to weigh it up. And whatever, how much it weigh up, that's how much he go get charged. Just, trying to scare him. So my first question is, pulled over by a police officer. What's my first move?
I mean, first, let me tell you something. You pull up by the boys, ain't no need to argue with those cats on the side of the road. You ain't gonna win nothing on the side of the road. So you be polite, yes sir, no sir. Mm-hmm. I mean, we don't see enough of us.
I ain't trying to go to court on the side of the road,
die
man.
on the side of the road.
Them videos have me when they be like, "Let me see your license," and you ain't got to show me my license. I ain't got to show my license. Like, why?
You have to present ID. You driving. That's
show your damn license, man.
Bro, and be nice about it. Look, why you just go off and start yelling? Because you're not gonna win. You take that up in court with that cat when you get there.
When you get there,
a better argument. I'm gonna say this. They have to have proper cause to get in your car.
Okay.
And so
for those that may not know, what is probable cause?
Probable cause is to believe that, given the circumstances that surround the particular incident, that a crime is being committed. And so now to pull you over, I think I need reasonable suspicion, and that's a very low standard. That means basically, that you have deviated, you could commit that's why they can pull you over for a traffic crime. Reasonable suspicion that you swerved in a lane. But then they have to develop probable cause when they approach your car. Now, the first thing they're always gonna say, bro, weed. I mean, and the reason they say weed is because of this. If they're looking for, and this is an analogy we learn in law schools, like if we're looking for illegal immigrants or something, then you can't go in your maybe they'll go in your trunk or your back seat, but you don't have them in your glove compartment. They're not underneath your seat. Marijuana is always the first thing that they can say. We have enough years of experience. We smell marijuana, so now it allows them to search the entire vehicle.
Right.
They can call the K9. K9s have a lower expectation of privacy because the court says that you really don't have this protected right of privacy with smells of narcotics, but they can't sit you out all day waiting for a K9. It has to be a reasonable amount of time. The probable cause is go in your car and find anything. Let me go ahead and say this. They don't read you your Miranda rights. That has nothing to do with your case other than the statements you make. Those only apply to statements. So I've had people all the time, they didn't read my rights. Well, okay, that doesn't mean they throw the case out. That means anything you may have said may not be admissible. That only applies to statements. DUIs. You don't have to take the breathalyzer. You don't have to do the field sobriety test. And a lot of law enforcement officers are probably not going to be stoked about this. But I'm going to try to tell black folks, us, what you have to do to stay out of jail, or make it much more difficult to put a case on you.
But if you don't do the breathalyzer, won't they lock you up?
Automatically. But this is the issue, though. One, field sobriety test is subjective. Officer can say, well, you look like you. They have to administer the test a certain way, like you hold your leg up long enough. They always say that. Well, you pass everything, but now I'm gonna give you the breathalyzer. And one, the breathalyzer on the side of the road is not admissible. The one that is admissible is the one that's at the station. But if you've been drinking, you don't think you're going to pass, don't take the breathalyzer, you're going to jail anyway.
Right.
Because you're giving them the objective evidence, scientific evidence they need. It is much more difficult for us to beat the Draeger, which is the machine they use, than it is for us to explain away other things. My eyes are red. Well, you just woke up. My speech is slurred. Well, I just woke up.
Right.
You're unstable and you're walking. Well, I hurt my knee playing basketball. So and I'm not advocating for anybody drinking and driving.
Right. I got you. Yeah, I got you.
But other things like.
So you went to the search the car. So, officer comes up, and he says, I got pulled over. I was in the drop top then. This was years ago, and the officer asked. I think I might have called you and told you about that. He asked to search my car. At that particular time, the car was registered in one of my partner's name. I let them search it. They took the speakers out. They had it's funny, man. It's like when I told them they could, it's like a whole NASCAR team pulled up. And they went from the route. I sat on the side of the road probably a good 45 minutes. They just they just went from the route. Like they just knew something. Man, they took so long, I thought something was in there. Scared me, you know what I'm saying? So, the officer comes up and he pulls me over, and he said, "You know why I pull you over?" No. Well, you didn't. Whatever. Put your signal light on. Then either he says the bull line saying he smell weed. I ain't smoking no weed in no car, which I don't understand why people do that anyway. But that's another story. I smell weed. He want to search the car.
If he determines that he has smelled weed or says he has proper cause.
But what if it's like, bro, I ain't smoking no damn. I don't even smoke weed, number one. But I'm not smoking no weed. And if I was smoking weed, bro, the dumbest thing to me is
to burn in the car.
In the car. And that's what I used to like in the club when I used to be like, man, you can't smoke no. Oh man, why you can't? I said, well, I tell you what, go smoke in your car. Because if the police come in here and he smells smoke, weed, which is
it's loud.
It's loud for a lie. Yeah. And I ain't knocking nobody that don't smoke weed, and I'm not saying I ain't never did it, just keeping it a buck. But I ain't finna be riding down 85, 65 burning, and I'm definitely, if I'm a hustler, not finna be, I never understand that. You carrying your drugs and you smoking weed? What the heck is wrong with you?
It ain't rocket science though either though. So some of these cats just
So
they
what
make
I'm
great
saying,
decisions, dog.
So
that's just ridiculous. Bro.
So but what do you do when that officer? Bro, is no. Do I have a fighting chance, or I just go ahead and let him search?
I don't think I don't know how you stop him on the side of the road. He said he has probable cause. You can challenge that probable cause in court.
So just go ahead and let him. You ain't got nothing. Just go ahead.
If he says he got probable cause, you don't stop him at that point. You see what I'm saying? You can't be like, no. He's gonna step out of the car. You don't have probable cause. You can tell him that, but he's gonna say, I do.
But what I'm saying is, all right. So say for instance, me and you get in the car right now. We just leaving the podcast. We driving. Police pull us over. Boom. I pull you over? No. Well, you didn't cut your signal on. Whatever. I smell weed. Probable cause. Now, me and you know like hell.
Ain't no footage. In the car.
No, period. So, and what scares me, bro, I watch a lot of Law and Order TV. That plant game, man. So now it's kind of like, I feel sometimes they get mad when they don't find it, and depending on what type of, I don't think we have to worry about that in Tuskegee.
No.
But other places, man, I just be scared, bro.
Well, it's not much you really can argue with this cat about probable cause on the side of the road.
Okay.
You can ask my supervisor and say, let me speak to your sergeant or something. And they could come on, you can explain to them your reasoning, but you really got to challenge that in court and say, trying to suppress the evidence. Because, see, there's something called the exclusionary rule that says if they break the law and that gets them to point B, when they find something, fruits of the poisonous tree, if they find something as a result of an illegal search, then that's inadmissible. I don't care what you find, the search was illegal. So that's what the lawyer's job at that point is, to challenge the search. Saying the proper cause wasn't there. And they're going to have to lay out why let's say theoretically I smell weed or something. They don't find any weed, but they find something else. Well, can you show that was marijuana in the car? Can you show that marijuana on a person? Where you document that you think it smells coming from, other than you just saying it exists. And so on the side of the road, it's not really much you can do other than comply, because they're going to make you comply. And I think that's part of the problem is we don't, and then it blows up.
It blows up, right.
But some of the other stuff, like, bruh, only feds are listening to your phone calls, dog. Like, I have cats like, man, I'm worried about the phone. First of all, no state can even tap your phone. You need a Title III application from a federal judge. And they don't. It's three judge panel, I think, that actually can administer that warrant. And after they've given you that warrant, it surveilled you, they got to send you something at the end saying, we've surveilled you, let you know. So ain't nobody listening to these phone calls, bro. These cats like, first of all, ain't no city police got no money to sit outside your house.
The Fed got me tapped, man.
Now the feds may have you tapped.
Nah, that's
but the state of Alabama ain't messing with you like that. And for the feds to come, you got to be doing something that make them want to come. A lot of cats don't know this, bro. This is the thing. Tuskegee, I think I've told you this, Macon County is probably, I know we are still in the top 10 in America on jury payouts in our county. We're the number one in Alabama, and we are very high countrywide. Every county in America, I think.
What do you mean jury payouts?
That means that if you get a case down here in Macon County, a jury will pay more than any other. Let's say we're number 6. It's only in 5 other counties you get more money out of. That means, so any car accident case, any insurance case down here is gold. And so it is. We got a bunch of good lawyers down here. Robert Thompson's a monster. Tiffany's good. Keith Thomas is good. A lot of Brian Striff's real good. But you have out-of-town lawyers that come down here and poach our cases. They'll pay somebody under the table, bro, to get an 18-wheeler case in Macon County. That's why you see all these lawyer signs down here. Right. And let me tell you what, if we went to Auburn and did that, tar our feather. We can't do that. We can't go to other folks' counties and take these cases away from those lawyers. And, it happens statewide, but Macon County is this place where, and everybody wants a case here. It pays off. Insurance companies don't even want to play around down here. Get jury. So
I went through that, and that's what the dude told me.
Yeah,
He told me, he said, man, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no.
That's right.
I got the film. No. And they was just like, bro, I'm going to be honest with you. In Tuskegee, and when he told me that, I was just like, well, man, whatever y'all do. As long as it don't cost me nothing, y'all finna kick me off the insurance anyway, So, and that's what I don't like, man.
Auburn's really conservative in juries, places like.
And I don't like that law, that situation happened with me. That's strong, man. That's really set up for us to fail. That's really set up for us to fail.
It's an extreme law, and you want me to say what it is?
Yeah, you can.
It's called the dram shot law, and what it says is that if you can prove that a restaurant or business owner served somebody who knew they were drunk or drunk too much, then they can be found liable if that person goes out and gets into an accident and injures someone, and that business owner can be found liable. And so I think it's something for extreme situations. There was one in Montgomery where this guy left a Chili's, killed some people, but he was drunk at the bar or something. Yeah. But also, yours was because it's Macon County. It's this insurance company.
Because I had footage, man. I sent footage. I sent, like, he ain't had but one, when I sent the video of him, and then it's just crazy because the insurance people, they play off that. I mean, not the lawyers. They play out
there. Yeah.
Because it's like when that happened, where are you been? So
No.
now the other spot was where they really, but that's a shot house. They ain't got no insurance. They ain't got no insurance. Yeah. So now you been, and that mess with my livelihood. That shit jacked up, bro.
I'm gonna tell you, man. This is one thing I remember. And if I ever misstate facts, I'm down for anybody to correct me. But I remember when George Clay was in the Senate, and I remember when George Clay worked on tort reform, and I could understand it because I was going to be a lawyer. And tort reform is when they control lawsuits, car accidents, stuff like that, to the trial lawyers. And George Clay went in and to pass tort reform because it hurts businesses. Businesses sometimes don't want to establish a place where you could get sued every time something happens. I mean, it's something where you get hit with a large jury verdict or something. A business that can't survive that. So that is one of our issues we have here. Is that me as a lawyer, it's a two-edged sword for me because I understand that businesses get hurt by it, but also as a lawyer, I make money off of it. But so it does affect us ability to bring in businesses.
Man,
that don't want to get sued, bro.
Man, that made me I would never probably open up a club again. Period. I don't care how sweet the deal is, where is it, how much money I can make. I just want to be a cool, laid-back spot, man.
I think I'm right. Robert Thompson told me a story in the 90s that it used to be a law where you could sue the person wherever they did business. So all the train cases would be coming to Macon County, no matter what. In case it happened like Tuscaloosa or something, but CSX runs through Macon County, they bring the case to Macon County.
And they win it.
And I think they talking about CSX came in and started pulling train lines up because it was just they didn't want to come through Macon County because they could get hit on a lawsuit.
Man.
That predates me, and I may be wrong, but I remember Robert Thompson told me that story. And he said they were killing them on that. Maybe that led to the tort reform.
Two things. We're going to wrap this thing up. Give me, and I know you can't use people's names, so I ain't asking for no names or nothing like that. We just say John Doe's. One of your best cases that you were proud of, and one of the worst cases that you had or experienced in this law game. We gonna wrap it up.
Say worst. And I think, last couple of years, I switched over. I don't do as much criminal law anymore.
Yeah.
And
I remember you telling me
part of the
that.
effect is in a small community, you get somebody out or give them an opportunity to get back out or whatever reason, and it's a violent crime, and they do it again, and you see the effect it has on somebody or a citizen, or having talked to a parent. And this is going to be a small community. I know these families in some way or form or fashion. But it was a cat, man, the situation, but I'm not going to say any names, but a couple of years ago, we had a case. This cat had done some violent stuff, and we were able to get him out of jail early. And he was supposed to be in jail a lot longer. We got him out early. 6 days later, he killed somebody.
Damn.
And in the back of my head, that's kind of frustrating. It's like, man, if I didn't do what I did, this cat wouldn't have been on the streets. And I had to do what I do because that's my job.
That's your job, yeah.
But also in a small community, when you see the effect it has on where it happened, who it happened to, all of that didn't sit well with me. So that's some of the reason I don't do really anything large anymore. Like I'll do small criminal stuff, but nothing heavy. I don't want to do any violent stuff because that sits well with me. I think it affects the community. And we got a ton of violence down here. I mean, it's something we need to work on. But
before you answer the best case, that brought another question to me. Do you ever, how do you deal, like you just said, you knew that situation, maybe the person where the place happened at, maybe the family member that it happened to. Do you have a problem? Does it mess with your mental, sleeping in, you know what I'm saying? And then is it hard for, say for instance, me and you buddies, right? We kinfolk. I go do something. I don't know, my hands might have been tied or I might have just been on some dumb shit. Who knows? but I do it. You already know I'm coming to you. If you send me somewhere else or you take it, how do you take cases knowing the person did it? Or you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't really know how to answer the question, but like
I'm gonna tell you how exactly. It's the beauty part of being Tuskegee, being raised out here is, from 21st century leader and Noble Jackson and Black history and just growing up in this, I'm very conscious of what we as Black folks, even though I'm half Black, but I mean even what we as Black folks, I gotta say that because some folks want to correct. People still call me white boy. I have clients that call me white boy. I'm the lightest dude down here. Shit, hang out Howard Road and shit, man. But I'm very conscious of what we have been through as people, bro.
Right.
And so I'm gonna be honest with you. Some of it is a little get back. I mean, I don't like to see it hurt our community. I don't like to see it hurt our folks that we grow up with. But I do think as African Americans, we have got a short end of the criminal justice system for a long time. So anybody I'm able to actually flip it on his head and actually get a win back from that, at least I can rationalize that in my head.
Right.
Because I know there's so many cats right now, bro, that jail they didn't do, or overcharged, or over-sentenced, over-prosecuted. I will say this, man. Like, again, Tuskegee is one of those places, though, to our prosecutors down here, generally we've had good prosecutors, man. And our DA's office has kind of been easier to work with than other ones we've dealt with in the past. So, it's not as bad as other places. But it does make me feel better in the back of my head if I can get something back, because not our prosecutors here, but as African Americans, we've just suffered from the criminal justice system since we've been here.
Gotcha.
So
good moment. What's a good moment? Good case you won that you was like.
It's a little bit mixed bag question right here, but this is a bad moment, but it's also a good moment. This was me and George Bulls. Still think it's the best case I've ever won. It was a situation where an individual a young lady had gotten shot, and so the individual who was accused of shooting her, I'm trying not to say too much.
Right. I got you.
And it's in a rural county. He was African American, and she was not an African American. She was younger, and he was older. And she ended up being on a ventilator, and she was paralyzed from the neck down. And this was something that a lot of African American attorneys told us that we could not win, and we need to be trying to take this deal. And we found out that the police officers had been lying. We found out they submitted some false reports, and we took it to a jury in a white county, and we got it not guilty. And we went up against the head DA and another young lady in a conservative county, and that gave me confidence. We was fairly new. We were about 2 or 3 years in at that point. And I'm telling some seniors, some guys I respect, told me like, that's a loser.
Right.
It gave me confidence that, bro, I could try cases anywhere. If we do what we're supposed to do and do our job, we could try cases anywhere. So that was a good moment. It's bad because of the outcome for the victim.
Young lady,
of the
right.
But it also gave me confidence, like, shit, I can do this, bro. You know what I'm saying? I can handle it.
That kind of boosts
you
up.
And that goes back to Tuskegee, man. That's just how we were raised. Jack and Gina, NYSP, all this confidence we have underlying. So, I mean, that was, me and George still talk about that to this day, man. That's one, we didn't think we were going to win either, bro. But it is what it is.
Well, man, this wraps up our episode. I appreciate you for taking the time out, man. Again, man, I appreciate everything you do for me. I don't think I ever called you and you told me no.
I known your ass since you were LeBaron. You were LeBaron.
I appreciate it to the fullest, man.
With Frank Walker.
Yeah. We were the young late crew.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, but
the original 46ers.
No, 46 boys.
Yes.
No,
too late, bro.
No. We're original 46 boys. But nah, on some real, man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate what you do for the city. Just sitting here listening to you, it gave me more clarity of why I rock with Chris Ford.
We
the love you have
bro.
for the
Going back, man.
the love you have for the city is. I tell people all the time, man, we're last of a dying breed. It kind of cut off. I don't know the years, but I think that's the problem. The love for the city that we have is gone. It stopped after a generation. It just stopped. So hopefully,
there's a love and there's a pride that we have because we grew up in it. So hopefully, we figure out some way
to get it back.
I mean, that needs to be brought back. Yeah. Like I said, maybe getting to these kids earlier or something. Yeah. Figuring out how we do that.
We got to get together, and it's gonna take us sitting around some tables with some people with like minds. I'm committed.
I call them out, dog.
Yeah. I'm committed now. Yeah. But again, man, appreciate you. That wraps it up for us. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll holler.